Guru Nation, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share. Really means a lot to me. I've been getting asked questions. Shout out to Guru After Dark last night. I'm gonna upload that today too, so you guys and gals get two videos today. A lot of stuff, a lot of activity in the industry. CROs are in the middle of layoffs, and I think structural changes that will last for a while, if not forever, and sponsors too. And so far, it seems like the sites are holding on. I know anecdotally, we're getting studies. It's not really slowing down. We're getting site selections. So this is really happening at the CRO and sponsor level. And I got asked several questions actually, around the same theme of, are CRA jobs safe? And I say, and I believe, and again, just my opinion, I mean, who am I? Like, I'm not in charge of a CRO. I have a boutique CRO, but I don't run IQVIA or PPD, and good luck trying to get them to answer this question. I think CRAs are safe. I mean, if you actually know, it's easy to say, oh yeah, AI is going to replace CRAs. Once all the sites go digital, once every site uses eReg and eSource, you may not have to go into the site anymore. This part might be true. Like my site uses eSource and eReg, and half the times the monitors prefer to remotely monitor. But there's enough value in on-person monitoring visits. First of all, things get done more efficiently by the site when the monitor is there. You can't hide from the CRA if she or he is telling you, hey, we need to fix these things. There is, I think, better efficiency when the CRAs do in-person visit versus remote visits, usually because the coordinator can't really escape, so they have to address at least some of the action items in person. I know at our site, we try to address the majority of the action items while the CRA is there monitoring, whereas this doesn't really happen remotely, because remotely, you give them access to your Creo, and then you forget about it, and then you forgot they even had a visit, right? So you can't forget when they're in person. It's front and center. It's there. I think there's tremendous value. We've already been in, like, post-COVID world, it's already 4 years. And remote monitoring, while it's definitely increased, I think it's reached its peak. And I think what we have now, in terms of half the time in-person visits, the other half remote, for when there is eSource and eReg as an option. Remember, the majority of sites still don't use eSource and eReg, so it wouldn't even be an option for them to begin with. The point is, who's doing all this work? It's the CRAs, right? It's not really the project management assistants who got outsourced overseas, the data management who got outsourced overseas, the startup specialists, the in-house CRA, the remote site monitors. No, the CRAs, the ones that are supposed to be the protocol experts, and they're like trained Navy SEALs coming in, and they're just protocol specialists. Like, nobody knows the protocol or should know the protocol better than that CRA for that study. Not even the CRC, not even the PI. I know people are going to say, how can you say that? Of course, the FDA expects PI to know the protocol and the coordinator to be the expert, but really, the sites are depending on the CRAs to understand the protocol, to be able to assist the sites with issues. And I'm talking about real-world issues like, hey, this patient's here right now. We need an answer now. We can't wait until next week to get an answer. We need an answer like in the next hour. These workhorses are the CRAs, and that's not going to change. And I think that kind of work never gets outsourced, and possibly never in maybe my lifetime. Although I got to be careful with statements like that. Let's just say at least in the next 10 years. I don't see CRAs being replaced at all. And I'm only saying 10 years because that's about realistically as far out as I can see. I don't like to say things like in my lifetime, because if AI really takes off and we're replacing everything with AI, well, this video is going to look outdated. Something tells me that's not the case, especially in our industry where things move so slowly. You can always predict what's going to happen in this industry by looking at every other industry. And I don't see AI really making a huge impact, like paradigm shifting impact, really in any other industry right now in 2024. Yes, they're definitely improving, they're making improvements, they're augmenting a lot of the work, but they're not replacing the work. And I definitely think in research, AI is going to be augmenting the work. And outsourcing, like to overseas, I think we're in the middle of that with all the support staff at the CRO and even sponsor level. I don't think the CRA role can get outsourced overseas. I do think that is a relatively local type of activity, like having a regional CRA, super important. Someone that can get to the site same day if need be. Someone that can get to the site regularly every 6 to 8 weeks. I don't think that's going away anytime soon, either by AI. Again, it may be augmented by AI, but won't be replaced. And neither will globalization and outsourcing in that regard. And then I also think, just to add, at the site level, I really think the CRC role is even safer than the CRA role. Although I think the CRA role is very safe. CRC role, I think, is even safer because of the patient interaction requirement. I'm driving to the clinic right now. We're going to have 3 patients today. None of these visits are possible without coordinators today. Like, I'm not a coordinator, I'm the site director, so I could be late. I'm actually bringing dry ice and petty cash for to pay the patients their stipend. I'm bringing some coffee for some of the staff. But I'm not a coordinator. If I'm a coordinator, I don't have time for any of this. I need to be there when the patients are there. I need to be there early. I need to hold their hand and guide them through the process. One of them's a screening visit. The other ones are a regular ongoing visit. We got to follow the protocol. We got to please the sponsor. We got to please the patient. We got to be there when our clinicians, when our PIs and our sub-Is ask us questions. That's not being replaced anytime soon by AI. I even have a hard time thinking how that role of a CRC is gonna be augmented by AI, unless the AI becomes really good at following the protocol and guiding the site, and giving safeguards in place to where you cannot make a deviation, or maybe you have to do some manual overrides in order to make a deviation. But CRA, CRC roles, I think safe as can be. I actually think those roles might be even safer than PI, because if you remember, historians and students of this industry can recall, wasn't that long ago, pre-COVID, where sponsors and CROs were really excited about decentralized clinical trial, and then they called it virtual clinical trials before that, where you would have a regional investigator. So let's say you'd have 2 PIs in California, and any patient in the whole state would fall under one of those 2 PIs. All the visits would be done remotely, and then in the smaller states you'd have maybe only 1 PI per state. That has a more realistic chance. I still don't think that works either, but that has a more realistic chance of getting pulled off at scale versus replacing coordinators and CRAs. But I think that's safe too. At the end of the day, and especially in a tighter job market and a tighter economic climate where interest rates are high and it costs more to innovate, and you have to be right with your innovations because now the penalty for being wrong is costlier. I think people get real practical real quick, and I think that's what the globalization, the recent layoffs at the CROs, are a reactionary move to the economic tightening and utilizing outsourcing and globalization. But I don't think they can do that with the CRAs. If they could, they would. Right? These CROs are publicly traded, like they're money generating machines. If they could, they would. I just think all the forces are in your favor if you're a CRA, and even more so as a CRC. Like, subscribe, comment, share. Let me know your thoughts. Bye bye.